Absolute dynamite. Oh my goodness. Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. With me I've got Joe Gallagher. Joe, this is actually my first interview with you.
Is it?
Yeah, I've never done one with you.
Right.
Even though I've been chasing you around this hotel for 2 days trying to grab one.
I know, it's mad. You think we'd have enough to, but we've been mad busy, haven't we, with everything that's going on here, like, and this hotel fight week, it's like a who's who, and I'm sure you would have caught Roach and Eddie Reynosa and Terence Crawford. There's boxing royalty here this week.
Exactly. So I don't do the fans thing. I don't go about getting photos with everybody. So maybe I should start doing that from Instagram. You know, build up my Instagram following.
Yeah, no one will believe in you to come otherwise.
Exactly. We're never in Phoenix, Andrew. Well, there's a reason why we're in Phoenix, Arizona. Liam Smith. Yeah. He's got a tough 10-round fight against Roberto Garcia. Yeah. I mean, we've seen him. For UK fans that don't know, he's fought Martin Murray. Looking at the fight, Joe, how do you assess the fight for Liam?
I think it's one of them that's not been spoken much about, but I think the clash of styles will make it into maybe one of the fights of the night. Roberto Garcia, good fighter. We've seen that with Martin Murray. Knows his way around the ring, knows every trick in the game as well, legally, illegally, and he's got that nasty spite to him, and we all know Beefy when he fights. He likes to bring that bit of nastiness, that smile, that smirk on his face, and I think the two of them could meet head on, and it's got a gel for a bit of a brutal fight. A good fight. Garcia's a good fighter, only lost 4 times, never been stopped, mixed it with the best, and it's not like Garcia got the call and wasn't in shape, who was training for a fight, so yeah, that's what makes it even a more
fan-friendly fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Lewis, I mean, Liam's made no bones about it. He wants to be world champion again. This fight's close to 160 middleweight thing. He's toyed with the idea of going up to 160. What's more benefit? How do I ask this question? What does Liam thinking? Does he want to be a 2-weight world champion, or does he want to stay at 154 and regain his title?
Yeah, no, Liam's 154. I think because of the lateness of him being on the card, the lateness of getting him an opponent. It's like, well, how can we do a 154 for any type of title or whatever at such late notice? So he weighed 159. You've seen him all week, easy enough, eating all the time. So yeah, no, he wants 154, the WBO new champion now.
Teixeira.
Yeah, and Liam wants to win this and get a shot at him. I know there's been social thumbs up from each other, and Liam saying I want good to see in 2020 and thumbs back and that. So yeah, and I think with the team around him, Liam now, MTK and Eddie Hearn, I'm sure they could easily go and deliver that fight for Liam Smith and to become a 2-time world champion in 2020.
He's another Mexican, isn't he, Teixeira?
Yeah, he is. Southpaw, we've seen him before, the 4 common opponents. Liam's last opponent, Liam stopped. In Mexico. Yeah, Liam's last fight, he stopped. And the new champion fought him and beat him on points. So yeah, no, he's good. Liam's very confident, but I think Eddie dangled, I think, the middleweight carrot in front of him this week and said, you know, there's big money to be made at middleweight, and I think with Eddie there's big money to be made with any weight, isn't there, at the box at the moment over here with the zone. So yeah, but Liam's fully focused on the Garcia and fighting for that world title early 2020.
Well, let's hope it's third time lucky for him, because Canelo, Mungai.
Yeah, like I said, Canelo took the belt off him, and but when you look back on that fight now, how well Liam Smith did with a bad camp, having the cut in sparring, did no sparring for 7-8 weeks, went in there, did 9 rounds of Canelo, 9-10 rounds of Canelo, made it competitive, and like I say, Mungai, Liam puts that down to inactivity. But now this is Liam, March, August here, this is like his 3rd fight in 10 months, and he's beginning to get some momentum now, some fight fitness, some sharpness, and yeah, it's all beginning to fall into place now, and hopefully we can get him out. I'd love Liam to be out back end of March 2020 and a world title fight at the Echo Arena in Liverpool.
In summertime for the world title fights?
No, next world title, I think March.
In March,
end of March, at the beginning of April. I'd really want that fight for Liam Smith, and I think he'd want that as well, ready to go.
I've got to say, even though Liam's lost against fighters like Mungai and Canelo, I mean, but that's done wonders for his career in terms of like today, we walked down the way and the amount of Mexican fans that came over to him was unreal.
And I say it all the time. I say it to Eddie, and I think Eddie's seen it today for the first time. Liam over here is just absolutely.
I've seen hashtag you've got there, like on your t-shirt, El Bifo.
Oh yeah,
El Bifo.
I can't explain when I go back home and I speak to podcasts and I speak to Sky and I go, you don't have an idea how big and popular Liam is over here, and. You're seeing that today, and that's because of the fights with Canelo and Mungai. And when we fought in Mexico in August, we pulled into a petrol station in the middle of nowhere, and the person behind the counter, the petrol man, recognised Beefy, and can we have a picture? And then everyone who worked in the petrol, picture of Beefy, and I'm like, wow, that's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And his fights with them too. But then that shows you how popular Mungai and Canelo is for his profile. Yet back home in the UK, Liam, I think, is one of the most underrated fighters in Britain. Everyone, as you've seen today, Andy, is so appreciative of his style. When you listen to, and you have Freddie Roach going up to Liam, and other top American trainers really love him, love his style, and really appreciate him. And like you say, El Bifo over here, he is a Mexican scouser, isn't he?
Well, I remember years and years and years ago when Liam was maybe before I think he won his British title. There was talks of, like, people were saying on Twitter that he's Mexican style. Beefy has that Mexican style, and I think that's, as well as fighting Canelo and Mungai and Liam's style, he goes out on his shield type thing, is that's really warm to that Mexican fan base. Like I just to say just that way, and the amount of Mexican fans that came over to Liam, like I remember you told me that story in Mexico about the petrol station, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, nice story, but actually witnessing the amount of, it was like they all flocked to him. So I suppose hopefully it's third time lucky if you do get to Xterra next year.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Who's that? Who's that?
Boover.
Who's that?
Adam Booth.
That's on camera. That's the salt. That's the salt.
I can see that you're emotionally perturbed.
Yeah, so hopefully it's third time lucky. I mean, if he does this and defend his world title next, hopefully would you defend the world title? Would you go to Mexico and sort of
Liam yesterday at the press conference, we sat beside him and he went, it's brilliant out here, isn't it? He says, I love it out here. He says, there we had this Crawford there, there's Roach there, he just loves the American. He's fought over here a few times now, and he loves it, and I think.
Do you love it?
I love it, but I think it's because Liam feels his style is more liked over it. He's appreciated more. They value him more as a fighter here than at home. And if you look at Liam, the fights that he's lost, but look at the ones that he's won of late. Beat Liam Williams twice, first time
in Liam Williams, he's really
but everyone's talking Liam Williams, and he's got to be number one middleweight, and Liam Williams is doing really well. That shows you what a good fighter Liam Smith is. He beat him in a dog fight, in a scrap first time round, and then second time round outboxed him and boxed his boxing skills, and beat him convincingly in Newcastle. So there don't seem to be much props go toward Liam Smith back at home, but like I say, he's got an opportunity against Friday night here. Gets a good win against an opponent that people know from back home. I suppose, against an opponent that people know back home from his fight with Martin Murray, and hopefully Eddie Hearn can deliver that world title fight for Liam Smith early next year.
Well, we've talked about Canelo.
Right,
there's rumblings and talk. I mean, there was a tweet put out the other day that I don't know who done it, but there was 5 names that Canelo wants to fight next year. Saunders, Charlo, Triple G, Callum was one of them, and there was
Andrade.
So at least Callum's there. I've noticed that you put a picture on Twitter with you and Eddie Reynoso. Can you elaborate on what was being discussed?
Yeah, we've had a bit of back and forth of late, and on social media and inbox messaging and that, and last night when I came here, because when we've been up against Canelo before, obviously he's not the most friendliest guy, but obviously you're not, because you're going to war in your position when Liam fought Canelo. When we came in here last night, he stood up and shook hands, weighed the height up of Callum, and we were saying, let's go, we're ready to do it, and he was saying the same, and we were back and said Cinco de Mayo and War Mundo, War Canelo, let's do it, and he just said, well, let's see, we'll see you in May. So that's what he says, so we'll just have to wait and see. But Canelo chooses who he chooses to fight. I said to Eddie, have you heard anything? And he says no. He says, I keep threatening him that if you don't make a mind up, I'll make Mundo and Billy Joe, although I don't think that'll happen. So that's it. It's up to Canelo who decides. I think Eddie's most will be having a good look. Reynoso at Callum while he's about here at the moment, and yeah, would love that fight. It's the fight that we want, and it's the big fight. And I think it's the one weight division where he hasn't won a proper, no respect to Rocky, but the genuine 160 world title. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so. But I can understand it, and like you say, he's becoming mandatory whether he wants to fight Billy Joe or Andrade at 160. So it's down to him at the end of the day, and whoever does get it's like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the golden ticket. Whoever gets the golden ticket.
It's like they've all got the golden ticket. That's who gets through the factory.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And listen, whoever gets the golden ticket, whether it's Billy Joe or whoever, I can't see it being Triple G. I don't think that'll happen. So wish whoever gets it good luck.
Andrade and Charlo are probably maybe not the bigger names between Callum and Saunders, because Callum's got the Ring Magazine, WBA, Billy's got the WBO, so I know they've all got their own sort of middleweight, you know what I mean, but I think the thing that Callum's got above everyone else is that Ring Magazine. Callum is the guy to beat at 168, so if you want to be the top dog at 168, you have to go through Callum. So again,
it's weird really as well, because you can't sit with Eddie Reynoso and go, this fight will make this much money and this fight makes money, because they've got the money no matter who the fight.
Exactly.
It's set in stone, 30, 40 million, whatever it is. So there's no point saying this will drive figures up and he'll fight and Sky. Don't make no difference. They'll just pick who they want, and whoever gets the golden ticket, that'll be it. But like you say, Canelo chance to win 168 and the Ring Magazine belt, and I think it's a good fight. And obviously both Billy Joe and Callum weren't great in the last performances. I don't think you can really say that. You've got to give full credit to John Ryder and his team and Billy Joe's team. And that's it. But the opportunity knocks. We've not got to look a gift horse in the mouth. We've got to snap the hands off with both hands of it. So I'm hoping to get a grip of Eddie around here at some point today. Reynoso, sit down and see.
Can I get it on camera?
You can get him sit down, we'll have a bit of banter, and see, can we get him to see where his train of thought or his mind of thinking is for Cinco de Mayo next year.
The thing with Callum, do you think, going back to the John Ryder fight, that when he was due to fight John Ryder, everybody was dangling that sort of Canelo carrot in front of him? Do you think it was sort of like, I know it's the human aspect of life, like if you're going to Dubai in July, but you've got Butlins in April, your mind's in Dubai, you don't give a I'm not saying that John Ryder's Butlins, but that sort of big huge fight with Canelo, do you know what I mean, is out there for him. Do you think that's probably played in his mind a little bit?
I don't know. I know at the press conference when Tony Sims said we'd been talking about Anfield and that, but it wasn't us. Eddie's the one that came out with a presser at the back end in September, October time, going as Anfield and Billy Joe. So yourself and everyone else, journalists, come and ask us about it. So we're only replying to the questions. We've not instigated it, and we didn't take John Ryder lightly. We had great sparring, we flew sparring in, and for the first 6 rounds I had 5-1. John Ryder came back well down the straight, and I'd say the scorecards were close, and that was it. But the right man won, and full credit to Tony Sims and John Ryder.
Definitely.
And there's no problem with that now. It's up to John Ryder now. Like,
his stock has risen, John.
Yeah, John Ryder's stock has risen. But if you look at the 3 world champions that he's fought, John Ryder, Callum Smith's the one that's beat him the easiest. Billy Joe was split decision, and Chris Eubank Jr. was split decision. So I just felt there was just a bit too much to understand. I've seen a scorecard tonight now with Massey and Riakpo, and I can't really mention it because I'm going to get loads of stick, but do you understand, I just hope that referee gets as much as what Terry O'Connor did, when I didn't think it was that bad. We're talking a round or two difference, whether it was 115, 113, but but full credit. But he has to go back now, John, and try and work his way back up again, or fight for whatever. And Callum wants the unifications and the big fights, and the WBO belt as well now becoming vacant. That's an interesting option as well.
The thing is with Canelo, obviously, you said he chooses who he wants to choose. The money, it doesn't matter how much money you dangle in front of him, he's getting the money no matter what. If you don't get Canelo, where do you go?
Well, obviously people got to say Billy Joe, that's a fight to be made, but I don't think it's a bigger fight. I don't think it's the Anfield fight. There's no point doing Anfield and getting 15,000 in. You might as well just go to Manchester Arena. Anfield has got to be a 35,000 crowd, and there ain't that many dance partners that can pull that in unless we did a Canelo and got a rematch on people say Triple G, but he's a middleweight. He's 37. Would beat him. You go really. So it's very hard. It's a hard stuck place unless.
Did you go up to 175?
Yeah, 175. Like I said to you, that belt's become vacant now. There's Gilberto Ramirez. I think they're on about Sulaimanov fighting for it. I've heard Yardi's in with a chance of it. So that becomes an interesting division as well, and maybe that may be the way forward. But we'll just have to wait and see and what happens. And I think that we've got to give an answer on their opponent by mid-January. So we'll see what happens.
Is this frustrating? Well, for you and Callum, like when these big fights are in front of you and you can see it and stuff like that. You're talking to Eddie Vinoso, you're talking to Eddie Hearn, and but you haven't got a confirmed answer yet, and it's obviously weeks and weeks down the line. And are you sort of like, as a fighter would have itchy knuckles to get in the ring? Are you sort of like that as well for this sort of?
Yeah, 100%. Well, Callum obviously is the inactivity and the fights, but I've said to Callum, we need to be out early 2020. We're out early 2020. We've got to be out back end of March, early April. Then we've got to be out in June, July. Then we've got to be out in October, November. We'll need 3 fights next year. Get out there, win, bang, bang. Get out there regular and often next year for 3 years, for the 3 fights. Now if Canelo comes on, well, we'll sit and wait till May. But if not, then we've got to go out and bang and get proactive and get busy. And will Callum fight in the UK again? I think we'll see Callum in the UK again. I think all the fights for Callum are over here in the US, whether it be Jacobs or whether it be Chavez. They're good options. Obviously Callum's here, we've got to watch. We've seen him training, we've seen him making weight, so them 2 are options as well, so we'll see. I
know Danny Jacobs and Callum have bumped into each other, they've had a chat. Were they sizing each other up?
Yeah, I suppose I do. I've seen the Olar and Chavez as well, and but that's just natural, isn't it? Everyone's looking around and looking at everyone, how they're doing the weight and that. So Jacobs is a huge name over here in America. That'll be a good fight for Callum Smith over here, defence of his title, to put his name out there. If Chavez wins, another huge name for Callum Smith.
We may have to go up to 175 for Chavez.
Yeah, we may have to. And the winner fight Ramirez for the belt. You never know, but like you say, it'll all be sorted out over the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens.
Well, if he does get Canelo at Cinco de Mayo, I would love to come over. Vegas, Cinco de Mayo, Canelo, Callum Smith. I mean, that would be.
It'll be unbelievable, and the amount of Scousers that'll come over to Vegas. I know we've had the Mancunians for years over there with Ricky Hatton, and I think it's wrong to say that the Mancunians. Everyone from all over the country came to Vegas to support Ricky Hatton. Everyone. But I think for the city of Liverpool, half of them go to Vegas anyway in the summer. But I think loads had come to watch Callum Smith over here and fight Canelo in the MGM and for the belts. And when that Canelo publicity machine gets going, I think it'd be great. And I won't write Callum Smith off. And I know people say, this and this, but not everybody is 100% all of the time. And sometimes it takes a bad performance sometimes to. And I can't say, just let me reiterate, it's not a bad performance. Callum Smith boxed well. John Ryder made a good performance. People got to stop saying that. I keep hearing, I keep telling Callum, stop saying that. You boxed well, pushed your hand. John Ryder did well, and that's it. Don't be saying you're bad. You're discrediting John Ryder's efforts. So that's it. So I just think to myself, Canelo looking after Billy Joe and Callum's performances, thinks I'll have one of them 2 then, but if you think Canelo or Billy Joe or Callum Smith's got to turn up like any of the last performances against Canelo, everyone knows they're not. They'll be on the game on top of it. And I think, funny enough though, I think Canelo and Callum Smith would be an absolutely brutal fight. I really do.
You obviously clearly, as Callum's coach, do you think he can beat Canelo?
I've been up against Canelo with Liam, and I think Liam Smith, I said to you earlier, what he did for 8-9 rounds and being in there and seeing him up close, know what he's good at, know the mindset. I just think, I do. We're not talking an old over the hill Callum Smith yet to hit his peak yet, and he's learning all the time, and the stuff that he does in the gym, we've not seen him transfer over into a ring yet.
There's 2 fighters in their prime really, isn't it, Canelo and Callum Smith? I mean, we're at that age now where they've won more titles, they're 20, 30 fights in, 40 fights maybe in Canelo into their career. I mean, I'm going to ask you this question, how does this sit with you? Callum Smith, Canelo, Cinco de Mayo on the undercard. Liam versus Teixeira as well. Does that sound good to you?
No, that's great, but I'd have to speak to Callum to see would he allow Liam on it. And also the other, because I know there's talk about Anfield and having so many on all the brothers, but depends who Callum
would come out of retirement for that?
I think he would, yeah. But I just think to myself, because Callum's would be top of the bill, it'd be a hard fight. I'd have to speak to the brothers and go, listen, I know for selfish reasons you'd want a boxer and everything, but you're diluting the team, the squad and everything else when all focus as solely should be on Callum for the main event.
It'd be hard for you if it is like a co-main event, you've got to go out for Liam, run back, warm up Callum, blah.
And Liam for a start won't have a tick over. Liam wants a scrap, do you know what I mean? Even sparring he feels like he's being offered out on the streets, do you know what I mean? Liam, he's like that, so but I understand the history and the moment and the magnitude of the event, and it's about time Liverpool Football Club and Liverpool City had its own event. London have had it with Wembley, Manchester have had it with Ricky Hatton and Ben Eubank, half of Liverpool have had it with Bellew and Goodison, but it's about time now.
The red side get it.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with them the way that things are going, they've got to win the Premier League, so it'll be a party season, won't it, next summer?
It'll be ridiculous. That'll be absolutely ridiculous, man.
But
are you United or City?
Yeah, I'm United.
So how does that sit well with you going to Anfield then?
Yeah, it's like anything. Yeah, it's just, listen, I've always said I would so much love to be part of that, in the tunnel, waiting to walk out, and Callum's walking to the ring and the crowd are singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." That will be one of the most iconic sporting moments that there would be. The song so ironic, "You'll Never Walk Alone." A boxing ring is the most loneliest place in the world, and when Liverpool qualified for the Champions League's final last season at Anfield, I texted you and I went, can you imagine that for Callum Smith? That walkout in the tunnel, it puts goosebumps on the back of your neck. And that could not but affect anybody. The opponent, I'm sure, would come to the ring with headphones or anything else, because it's one thing about Liverpool, like Belfast, Manchester, the fight cities, and they get behind their own, and that'll be one TV moment, especially that ring walk to that song, to that crowd in Anfield. That'd be a massive TV moment of 2020.
I totally agree with you. Well, I've had you for well over 20 minutes, Joe. Can you just give Liam and Callum a
no, I will do.
Tell them off Mario Kart and come and speak to me.
They've got a competition going on Mario Kart at the moment. Yeah, so
who's winning?
It was Callum, but I think Liam went happy about it because he wasn't there playing it last night. So Liam's so competitive. The pair of them are like, do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, I think Liam's trying to put it right up there now, but I'll give him a call and tell him to come down.
Good stuff, and let's get Eddie Ramos on this as well.
Yeah, no, we'll get a grip of Eddie in a bit, and see can we force an answer out of him.
I'll get an answer out of him. I'll get an answer. Right, Joe, again, thanks for this 5 TV, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, thank you.